Hello, it's Tom and welcome to SoftTalk ASMR. How are you today? And today's video is looking at my review of the new Worzel Gummidge 2019, the two episodes which the BBC aired on the 26th and the 27th of December 2019. Did you enjoy them? I know I certainly did. I felt that it definitely brought a new wave, a new energy to a new generation, and also to an existing generation of people like myself who still adore the old original Worzel. Now, over here is a picture which I included in my video about a week ago of Mackenzie Crook, who was the writer, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was the producer as well of the show. He also starred as Worzel, and there's the Green Man, which is played by Michael Palin. And another character, and it's been hard to find pictures of the cast, but I found this one online of Earthy Mangold, who's played by Francesca, I believe. Very kind character, and the comment I read with this photo, which is off Twitter, is that she thoroughly enjoyed. It was a good laugh from start to end. That's a lovely energy. Really pleased to hear that. So that's Earthy Mangold. Today's video is my feedback, my review of the two episodes. This is an ASMR channel, which is SoftTalk ASMR. My voice is naturally soft and gentle, and the videos that I make are aimed to give a gentle approach to life, to allow listeners and viewers the chance to relax and be gentle. Just allow yourself to gently flow, and if you fall asleep, then that's great. If you aren't used to ASMR and you're here simply for the Worzel Gummidge video, I hope you can bear with me with my stance on the way the video is. I know it might not suit everybody, and the style I'm doing this may sound a tad slow, but I'm pretty much done with the fast pace of life. Working for years in stressful jobs with brash people, I found a way out from that, and I'm proud that doing much more better things, more beneficial things, holistic way of life, healing and eating good food, and generally a more gentle approach to life. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I realise this video may pull some new viewers, so a warm welcome to you, and if you'd like to subscribe, please do. I hope some of the other videos on my channel might be of interest to you. So my voice is gently soft-spoken, naturally soft-spoken. So I'm going to talk through my review of 2019 Worzel Gummidge. And first of all, I'd like to say that I'm still a massive fan of the original. When I say the original, of course I mean the 1979 to 1987 version, which Jon Pertwee portrayed Worzel Gummidge. And although I've really taken to the new Worzel, I still completely honour and respect the great work that everybody at Southern Television did with the 1980s version, as I like to call it, of Worzel Gummidge. But this new reawakened, I think is probably a good way of putting it, the new reawakened Worzel has really impressed me. And Mackenzie Crook, thank you. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you to the BBC for finally allowing yourselves to broadcast Worzel Gummidge, as I know it was once a case that the BBC were approached when the original was made, but BBC didn't take it up, and Southern Television did. There's a signed autograph by Jeremy Austin, who played John. Southern Television card there, and Worzel's nephew Pickles, which is played by Wayne Norman. So there's some original cast members from the original, but I digress. The 2019 version of Worzel Gummidge is excellent. My review is, on the whole, very, very good. Very good views, very good comments, and I particularly enjoyed the opening scene with the Robin, the animation. Very much a gentle, charming, positive introduction, and I feel that that is something we greatly need, because so many shows for young people now are fast-paced, like being on a roller coaster. Everything's fast editing, fast pace, and the trailer that the BBC created for the new Worzel Gummidge, I was concerned at what I was seeing because it was very fast paced, and I did leave a comment on the BBC YouTube channel to say the editing for the, I say advert because BBC don't have adverts as such, but something of an ident, a trailer for the new Worzel Gummidge was done in a very fast manner, very rapid editing, which is unnecessary in my point of view. It really distracted from what was trying to be portrayed, shown. You know, the show, those two-part episodes, it wasn't fast-paced at all. It was a drama, yes, but not a hectic drama, which the trailer gave me the impression that it would be. I think we all need to bear in mind that the way things are advertised now isn't necessarily what the actual object is really about. That's something to bear in mind for the whole collective of all sorts of things that are being advertised. Why everything has to be so fast, I don't know. I think we're frying our brains, having to process so much stuff so quickly when there really isn't a need to. But that was my concern initially with the new Worzel, that it was going to be rapid editing, fast panning of camera work. I'm happy to say it wasn't, and I'm delighted that it wasn't. It has been made, and it has proven that here we are in 2019, on the cusp of 2020, here in the UK, we can still make, edit and broadcast TV shows that are not erratic, chaotic and fast-paced. So thank you. Thank you, obviously, to Mackenzie Crook, all of the production, directing and editing team, for creating something which really was charming, beautiful actually, very impressed. And this is coming from a real deep-rooted Worzel Gummidge fan here in the UK, so thank you for that. So the opening scene, lovely colour work, lovely artwork illustrations, with the robin coming through, and obviously I think it was a red tractor in the field, the animation, brilliant. My first impressions when the show started, this is episode 1, which was broadcast on Boxing Day, the Mercedes estate car J-Reg, I thought that's interesting, an older type vehicle, which was the minicab, which had the two children, John and Susan, in. I thought it was interesting using such an old vehicle, and I did just get a hint of old vehicles being used throughout the 2 episodes, because the museum was a 1960s, I think it was a Mark I transit van in blue. I mean, that's a collector's piece, that's a classic vehicle. And there was also a late 1980s, I think it was an F-plate green John Deere tractor that Mr. Braithwaite was driving. So that was very nice. It was nice to see some older, more venerable vehicles being used, perhaps rekindling the charm of where it is taken from this era. So that was nice to see, and whether it was intended or not, it works. So that's great. I would have liked to have seen possibly some more outside furniture infrastructure, possibly, like an old pillar box, an old K6 telephone box possibly. I know there was a signpost with Scatterbrook labelled on it. Possibly, if there was an opportunity to have like a shop scene, a lovely quaint old English village shop, like an old baker's, possibly something like that. I dare say if the opportunity arises for more episodes, the production team may look into that to create something with a real old English village atmosphere, but still brought up to the modern day. The link to the modern day, of course, was very clever, with the mention of plastics and recycling, keeping Britain clean and tidy. I loved the fact that Worzel suddenly presented himself with an old potato sack and started clearing the countryside of litter, and obviously right at the start of the show with the iPhone, the mobile phone with the cracked screen, which I'm sure we've all had. I know I have experienced cracked screens from my mobile phones in the past. Now, I have written quite a long list of things which I will run through. So I've mentioned, yes, excellent new Worzel Gummidge. Particularly love the Green Man, and I love Earthy Mangold. Green Man, Michael Palin, perfect actor for the episode. This was the 2nd episode. A real link with the earth energy. I'm so pleased that has been explained, given the viewers something to think about. I love the expression about how the leaves and the trees and the wind and the air and the birds all carry and speak messages through from thoughts and actions and people and what they're doing, and from scarecrow to the green man. If you're not on a spiritual path and you're not that aware of where I'm coming from on this, we are on. Some do consider we are on, with the 2020 cusp, a new earth, a new way of thinking and being, and our senses are opening up more, and we are being that little bit more open to new ideas, better ideas, cleaner, healthier, happier ways of living, holistic ways of living, meditation, engaging with the outside, with the earth, and really drawing in that earth energy to help heal us and clear and connect with nature and with the land that we're on. And I'm so pleased that the conversations between Worzel and the Green Man really depicted that. So again, thank you. Well done for that. Earthy Mangold, what a caring friend to Worzel, and what a lovely character. And I can tell the actress, she really enjoyed that. Thank you. This is again cloth sack, and she seemed to study that pose quite well, I feel, when she was posting herself back onto the allotment post. Yeah. So again, I love the hair. It's like the old spaghetti hoops, tin spaghetti hoops. So I do like those three characters: Worzel, the Green Man, and Earthy Mangold. You're probably going to guess what I'm about to say now about Aunt Sally. I didn't like the Aunt Sally, but I do understand why it was probably portrayed in the way it was. First of all, the scene was very, very short. I would have liked to have seen Aunt Sally feature a bit more. Certainly in an outside scene, I would have loved to have seen Aunt Sally, going along on those wheels, perhaps down a country lane. That would have been quite interesting, with hedgerows either side, and perhaps the Green Man fixing a hedgerow, as he was beautifully doing in another scene. But Aunt Sally, the scene with Aunt Sally was filmed in a very dark room. It was in a museum. Wow, did she look sad, and did she look angry and slightly hostile, actually. I suppose inevitably there has to be a character which comes across as not very nice. I suppose in all sorts of TV shows there's always a set of goodies, there's always a baddie or a group of baddies. I'm not saying for 1 minute Aunt Sally is a baddie, but she has come across in this style as a real mean old battle axe. There was quite a bit, a certain amount of CGI, which was very interesting, computer generated images. With Aunt Sally, you didn't see the lower part of her body, there were no legs, it was literally the dress going over an old hoopla, Victorian hoopla, with wheels at the bottom, and obviously the CGI had taken out the legs, the lower body of the actress. Somebody pepper something is the name that's coming to me. But the interesting thing was that scene with the museum, the fact that the museum was closed and Worzel went in pretending to be a workman to go in and look for Aunt Sally, and he was pulling all the white dust sheets down of the exhibits. It reminded me of episode 1 of the Down Under series of 1987, when Worzel Gummidge, who was played by Jon Pertwee, went into the museum of Pickawacka to look for Aunt Sally, and there were several Aunt Sallys. I think there were 3, possibly 4, and he was pulling all the dust sheets off, had to sneak in as a workman. So that was very interesting, because as far as I'm aware, Mackenzie Crook never ever watched, never ever viewed any of the Jon Pertwee episodes of Worzel Gummidge. So that's an interesting synchronicity that he's picked up on, to disguise himself as a workman, to enter the museum, to pull the dust sheets off, to look for Aunt Sally. I dare say scripts, the original Barbara Youth and Todd books, I admit I've never read. I am a big fan of Worzel, but from a televised point of view, I am going to make sure I do get at least one of her books, and I will start reading it. This revival in end of 2019, cusp of 2020, by Mackenzie Crook, has definitely re-energised the life of Worzel, and the work of Barbara Youth and Todd, of course, who was the original 1930s author of the books. So let's see what else I've put down here. So I've mentioned about Aunt Sally. Yes, it was a very sad and unhappy scene, I felt. In the second episode, when Worzel is invited to see Lady Bloomsbury Barton with the children for tea and cake, I was, in the words of Jon Pertwee, absolutely bum-swizzled, flabbergasted, because Mackenzie Crook, who was playing Worzel, actually declined a cup of tea and a slice of cake. A slice of cake and cup of tea, slice of cake, cup of tea. I couldn't believe it. He declined it. Although he did drink some milk, and that was very funny, the puddle of milk on the carpet. Do wonder if it was ever noticed by Lady Bloomsbury Barton, of course. But I dare say Enid the maid, if there is an Enid the maid in the new series, if one ever appears like there was in the original, should be mopping that up for her as we speak. No, seriously, it was very interesting that Mackenzie Crook, playing Worzel, declined a cup of tea and a slice of cake, because that is the trademark of Worzel, isn't it? Certainly the Jon Pertwee Wurzels. So that was interesting. What then made it even more interesting, and I don't understand this. I'd almost say it's a continuity error, but I'm very open to accept any feedback on this. But the next scene, when Worzel was walking along the lane with the children to go back to 10 Acre Field after visiting Lady Bloomsbury Barton, he said, I'm convinced he said something along the lines of how he loves cups of tea and slices of cake, yet he declined it in the previous scene. So, not sure. Maybe that was me slightly not hearing things correctly, and maybe somebody might be able to just give a little bit of clarification on that. Happy to receive any comments on that. I didn't like the scene in the first episode with the crows in the car park. It did get a little bit solemn, a little bit sad, but the scene as it was played out really did explain itself well, and it does show the important message of how nature conveys and speaks to each other, and the earth speaks, as I've been saying earlier. Energy, everything is energy, and I'm so pleased that Worzel Gummidge is bringing in this new earth energy, this positive vibration. I always felt it would. I said this in my preview video. I felt that I had an instinct that this was going to be along these lines of really explaining about the connection with Mother Earth, with nature, and Earth energy and Earth energy lines. That's great. Yes, I put here. I love the fact there was a nice flow, a nice gentle pace. The director of photography, brilliant. I love the overhead views, and it was so nice to see and actually enjoy the view. I mean, the episode 2 with the green man walking through at the start, it was lovely to see the flow of the landscape rather than a quick edit or a blurred panned vision like so many other TV shows these days are made. So that was lovely. Winter George, the name of the Robin, excellent. It was nice to hear his name referred to, and of course he was a CGI Robin as well. Yes, I've mentioned here that the subtle references to how the Earth speaks. The Earth is talking to us. That's why I love Worzel, because everything is communicating with each other in its own subtle realms, subtle way. Think about that. Yeah, I think I've more or less covered everything. I really enjoyed it. Think about the old vehicles. I'd love it if you had an old bus in there, you know, a nice old style single deck bus, something like that. A bit like what Mr. Peters drove when Worzel went to the seesaw, something like that. That I'm sure that would be good if they ever made another episode. If there's Worzel hiding in the old bus, the old style coach. Yeah. The lady who portrayed Mrs. Braithwaite, there's the original Mrs. Braithwaite, Megs Jenkins. I absolutely adore Megs Jenkins in the original. I think the lady who played Mrs. Braithwaite was excellent. The man who played Mr. Braithwaite was excellent. They both had that slightly, I don't mean this in a horrible way, slightly odd way about them, but I think odd is brilliant. Being slightly odd, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to be slightly out of the neurotypical flow at times. So I'm very pleased that the casting I felt was very good. There is one thing I would love to know the answer to is was Una Stubbs originally cast to appear in this new version? Because I'm fairly certain, I swear that one day when I looked on to see who the cast member was, I was convinced Una Stubbs was there, and I've looked since and there's no mention of her. So there we are. That's my review of the 2 episodes of Worzel Gummidge and The Green Man. I absolutely loved it. I loved all the references to the harvest moon, the patterns that they created in the field, all to do with the connection of earth energy, divine light. Brilliant. What a lovely message for younger generations and generations of my age and older. Here's to hope there'll be some more Mackenzie Crook Worzel Gummidges. I do hope so. Thoroughly enjoyed this 2-part drama. Please can you make some more BBC? And thank you to everybody for watching this video. Thank you for your interest. I do hope you understand my soft talk and my gentle approach to being. So there we are. I shall definitely be getting more Worzel Gummidge memorabilia. I'd love to hear from Francesca if you'd ever get in touch. I'd love to get your autograph. I think you're beautiful. You did such a lovely job on that character. Really lovely. So there we are. If you'd like to get in touch, my name's Tom, and this is my SoftTalk ASMR channel here on YouTube, and I generally create videos in a very gentle way. So if you're looking for a more relaxed approach towards being, come and join us. Hopefully I'll hear from you at some stage. as ever, with loving kindness, I shall talk to you soon. Take care. Goodbye.